Welcome to another episode of Launch Your Light, a podcast for the mystical and magical woman here to share her soul purpose. All right, guys, we are diving in for another topic. This time, I'm breaking down what does soul purpose and earth mission even mean? A lot of people ask me, Jayme Gray, what are you talking about? And then following up with, do I have one? So this obviously needed to be the beginning of this podcast. It needed to be the beginning of this book. It's a topic I love. It's not trendy for me. This means a lot to me. This is what my soul purpose is here to help with. So let's do it. So get out a notebook if you're feeling called. Get yourself into a nice, quiet space. Maybe that is going out into nature. Maybe that's sneaking away in your car. Maybe that's just sitting in your backyard with a notebook. You figure it out. Or get into a meditative space where you can really receive these words and activations and see what comes up for you. Right. The most basic essence of soul purpose is the mission and life experiences we signed up for in this lifetime to fulfill on planet Earth. It's what you came here to do and who you came here to be, basically. I also call it an energetic blueprint, a soul contract, a reason for living. We are born, I believe, we are born with a unique purpose to fulfill, lessons to learn, and challenges to overcome. Yet it is interesting how something so innate, so natural, so tied to us can be so elusive and hard to quote unquote find. People are always trying to find purpose outside of themselves as if it's something you would stumble upon. I'm here to remind you that it's been with you this whole time. Yes, purpose is powerful, but it's also one of the simplest things in the world. I always tell my clients on some level, you're probably already doing it. So, your purpose and mission will be the energy, the intention, and passions that attract and drive everything to your experience for this lifetime. Once you understand that, it becomes interesting to look back over the years and see where it's showing up. Just saying. Once you get through this episode and you start to witness all this within yourself, you might go, oh my God, people have been coming to me for that for years. And also, if you're interested by what I'm sharing here, the end of this episode, I'm going to share with you my top two most powerful exercises for how to move forward with this, for how to get more clarity around your purpose. So keep listening. All right. I believe your purpose is your why. It reaches into the depths of your soul. It triggers an ancient remembrance of why you are here and how much you are needed. This stuff is deep. I believe everyone has a path of purpose on this planet, even if it's hard to understand that. I'll break it down into three little categories for you. Individually, we usually have many, big and small, easy and hard, known and unknown, right? So you'll be going through a lot of this yourself anyway, individually. Collectively, we all have a soul mission of remembering our divinity within us and learning how to embody it, thus creating heaven on earth, aka the new world. Casual, right? LOL. It's not, right? And that's why we're here to do it together, all 8 billion of us. The other thing is to remember that this isn't like a linear experience. It's multidimensional. It's multifunctional, right? Um, just breaking that down even more, what I mean by that is many of us have multiple purposes here, and they're all connected. They're intrinsically tied together. So this is when I talk about the time capsule experience. Is what I mean. People are waiting for you to do the thing so that when that energy unlocks that you've done it, it's going to then unlock it for someone else to be able to move forward. So let's say you have a specific process you're creating. Well, all the people that need you are waiting for you to come out with that process so that it can unlock in their soul contract to work with you to learn the process, to do the thing, the healing, the uncovering, the this, the that. So that's how we're all connected. And it also will hopefully light a fire under your butt to do that thing you're being called to do. So, for example, this book I'm writing will touch thousands of lives, maybe a million. The goal is for those who read it to be activated onto their path of purpose. Even if one sentence in this book shifts someone's path in the right direction, I've done my job. And this I can feel in my body. I can feel it in my sacral, in my womb. I feel it rise up into my heart. I am here to help so many. I've already helped so many, but I have so many more that it's not about readers. It's not about Amazon bestseller list. I don't care about any of that. It's about this part, right? The activating people to their path of purpose. This is huge, right? I'm connected to lots of people on the planet who are waiting for this book. So, I know it will have so much impact, and the book will aid many in fulfilling their soul purpose, which will pave the way for those they are connected to do the same. This is a massive ripple effect. So take a moment here right now and get clear. Who is this affecting? What's the ripple effect of you getting behind your soul's purpose? Because I will remind you and my clients over and over again, it's not about you, right? It is about also, and of course, yes, like for those who want to feel special in this moment, who want to feel worthy in this moment, it's about you doing the damn thing, creating the thing, making the thing, yes. But it doesn't stop there. And so many people get stuck there. This has great impact on the world around you. So let's start getting aligned with it. All right, here's a few different ways you can understand soul purpose. This is also called like your life's calling, why you are here at this time in this lifetime. This can be considered your heart's deepest desires, a craving to create or fulfill a dream. This can be considered a sacred contract or blueprint you create and design with your higher spirit intelligence, your soul team, and the creator, whatever you're calling it these days. This has to do with the plan of your oversoul and the spirit team plan you sorted out before you incarnated. That means before you were born on planet Earth. This is also known as Dharma in ancient India. It's a Sanskrit word for divine plan. Research that, look that up, and see all of the brilliance people have shared about that over the years. This also can be a path to embodying more of your divine self on planet Earth. This is a co-creation that wants to work with us and is something we have to commit to over and over and over as we evolve and as the world evolves around us. I'd like to note that most of the above examples I just explained are widely held beliefs for most religions and ways of spirituality worldwide. So, regardless of what your beliefs are right now, these are their foundations. So, call it what you want. It all comes back to divine love, baby. All right. Okay, let's dive into Earth mission. So, guess what? You might have soul work and an Earth mission. This extra layer of purpose is felt among those with a more profound relationship or calling to help the planet and those on it specifically. The blueprint for this information is available at the soul and Gaia consciousness levels. So, accessing your Earth Star chakra, which is a few feet below your feet on Earth level, there's a lot of information for you to connect with the planet, the consciousness of the planet, and your path and purpose here. So to get into meditative space and just get your consciousness down into that Earth Star chakra, there's a lot of information for you there. And I invite anyone to do that with this planet, with Mama Earth. Anytime you feel disconnected from her and you need to anchor into the truth of your being on this planet. People who feel especially called to help the planet. And I mean the animals, the soil, water, plant life, fungi, air, ice, the seeds, children, communities, the oceans, anything living and breathing, part of these systems on the web of life that need help right now or just want more of a deeper connection from humanity. You guys are being activated explicitly during these times. So I want to keep this segment brief because I could literally write another book about this. And it will probably be one of my following projects, but I needed to mention it. I want to mention it right away, and I'm going to tie it through the entire episode, this not even this episode, but the entire show. I constantly bring it up in interviews, I constantly bring it up in my work, and I constantly bring it up in the book. So I had to kick off being like, what do I mean when I say Earth mission? And I want to mention it because I'll be referencing this a bunch. This has to do with the planet Earth missions, and there's a lot that will come up for you with this. So feel free to, you can text me now. I made it so you can text the show host if you're like, oh my God, the Earth mission, this is me, I need help. Reach out to me. I got you. Okay, what brings you to purpose? This is a great question I get asked. Waking up to your calling and your soul purpose can be challenging. For most people, it's an immense pressure point, but it can also come through pain. Sometimes it's pain that has brought you to purpose instead of comfort and pleasantry. And I don't mean like physical pain necessarily, I mean like a pain point in your life, a challenging moment, complex really intense situations in life, your pain points, right? Traumas to tragedies and everything in between. So I'd even go as far to say that your purpose is the point of all that pain. Ouch, right? We'll break that down for you. I'll keep going, but that's a big one. Who's having aha moments right now? Another angle that leads folks to a soul quest is the feeling that they're wasting their lives, that they've done nothing to contribute to the world, and they feel unworthy at every turn. If you get quiet enough, most people would find that they too deep down know they want their lives to be meaningful. They want to have been worth something. They want their life to have been worth something. Maybe for those of you that feel the pressure of a legacy, or you're here to build a legacy, you may be feeling that. It may be pushing you to be on this podcast right now, right? There's a deeper, this to me, this is deeper than business and success. This is why I believe purpose can save your life and others' lives. So here's a few reasons that some of us are pushed into purpose, okay? See which one you are. Some are just on a quest for answers. Some are on a truth seeking journey. Some have had a traumatic event or an accident. Some have an illness, a terminal illness, even. Some have been given an end of life sentence. Some have been given a diagnosis that was very scary and challenging and overwhelming. Some just have complete and utter boredom for life right now. Some have a soul spark, an activation, an ignition. Some are experiencing the dark night of the soul. And as you heard in one of the Astro talks I just had on earlier with Ineza, we go deep into the dark night of the soul. So if you want to hear about that, please go watch that podcast. It's the June Astro report. But this is just some of the things that will bring people to soul purpose, right? And if you have a different experience, again, feel free to text it to me. I'd love to hear it, and I can go back and edit this book even and add yours to it. A few questions, I'm sorry, a few examples of purpose work. I want to break it down for you because they can be big and small. Look like this. This could be writing that book you keep talking about. How many of you are just telling your family members that you're going to do this thing, do this thing, do this thing? It's like they're sick of hearing about it. You're sick of hearing about it. It's time to do it. But that is a nudge towards soul purpose, right? This can also look like launching that nonprofit that has been on your mind for a decade. This can look like creating the New Earth communities and buying land and gathering people and making these new ways of living together work. This can look like being a lighthouse for other souls and their path. This can look like just taking that coaching program, being the teacher, being a mentor, being a coach, being a healer, taking that certification. And if you're looking for a coaching program, I have connections to the coaching program that I use to become a coach, and you can see how I show up in the world. So again, text me if you are curious about that. This can also look like leading or supporting that revolution. And listen, there's many revolutions going on out there right now. So which one do you need to get behind or create your own? This can also look like being part of a team or generation here to cure a disease. That one's interesting, right? We come here as generations together to move through that. This can also look like signing up for that certification, that Reiki certification you've been craving, that thing that's sitting in the back of your head that you're like, I know I need to do this. I need to sign up for it. Again, with the time capsule, if that is the next step, you need to do that to unlock the other ones, meaning maybe people aren't going to come to you until you've unlocked that thing so that then they can start to receive the vibration of the unlocking that you did the thing, which can kick off their thing, which will then bring them closer to you. Yeah. This can also look like taking a stand for the bees and the trees and the seas. That's like an Earth Guardian vibe, if you know what I'm saying. This can also look like creating that invention that keeps you up at night. You too. I'm talking to you too. How many amazing creations are going to come out of the Renaissance period we're walking into right now? It's going to be an amazing decade. This can also look like overcoming a disease and showing others how to. You know, how much of a path is that for people? You calling that into you or deciding in, pre-life planning that you were going to have the disease. So you could be a way shower for others to overcome it as well. Yeah, this is some deep stuff, man. This can also look like taking care of family and loved ones. This can also look like raising starseed children and paving a new way for more light-filled beings to come down to the planet in the form of children. Like, there's some cool stuff coming up in these next decades. I don't know about you, but I am in it. And this is why I had to get this out, like this book out and this podcast out, so I could talk about these things with the people who were ready to hear it and to feel it and to do it. So remember, purpose can be big and small. It can be obvious and not obvious. It can be just for you, and it can also be for someone else. What can purpose look and feel like? I love answering this. There are times when your soul's purpose is as quiet as a whisper, and there are times when it is banging down the door, my friend. Sometimes soul purpose can feel blissful, harmonious, and even sparkly. It can feel warm in your belly with alignment and hope. Sometimes it feels like a spark, a quick flash of divine remembrance that strikes you like lightning, and that feeling can fade as fast as it comes. And you crash back down to earth and you're like in the muck of it. Sometimes that can all happen within a few hours. Anyone else been there? It can even conjure the dopamine responses we experience with joy, the oxytocin hormones that parents feel for their children and we feel for our loved ones and our furries. And sometimes it's got you deep in the bellies of the beast and facing your worst fears. You may find yourself curled up on the floor of your bathroom or in your bed crying and screaming, but why? Why me? Why is this happening? Guess what? It's all part of it. Soul purpose can feel like a superpower and sludge all in the same week. It is a ride. And that's why I constantly talk about this being a journey. Okay. It has its ups and downs, it has its highs and lows, it has its spirals, and you feel like you're back at square one a lot of the time. It's okay. Keep going. After years of aligning with my soul purpose, I can attest that it isn't always a sweet and smooth experience. I've evolved, I've healed, I've changed and so has my message, so has my work. And like, that's part of it. But when you boil it all down, it's still me, it's still my purpose. Just because you're living in alignment does not make it easy. Okay. Yes, of course, living in a flow state is optimal and boundless and limitless. And I love it when I'm in that. But you will still face challenges and expansions, contractions, and rebirth. I am not the person who will tell you that once you align to your purpose, everything works out smoothly, the money flow turns on, et cetera, et cetera. That all does happen. Like, there will be smooth moments, there will be blissful moments, and the money does turn on, and the opportunities appear, and things happen. Absolutely. But in reality, the longer I sit with my purpose, the more I expand and contract. I go high, I go low. I'm constantly remembering my divinity, and then I'm constantly questioning my sanity all the time. And that's including lots of space and integration in between. Actually, the majority of the time you spend in between those two extremes will be in the space in between, right? In that integration phase. So, for example, it's been an exciting and extremely challenging few months and now years sorting through years of writing and teaching about this topic so I could write a book and make it make sense. It's my soul's purpose to write this book about soul purpose, and it's been decades in the making. I was sick of talking about this book I was going to write, and I finally did it. So that sounds lovely, but it's also scary AF. And this is the significant shift. Everything I just said is the shifting the dial 1% at a time. That's why I tell my clients, like, don't shift at 75%. You need to go 1% at a time. And that leads to the significant shift. You can look back over the last 4 years, the last 40 years, whatever, the last 4 months. Okay. Listen, this is going to be an exhilarating and deeply fulfilling journey. Purpose work is not pretty all the time, people. Okay. And I think it's a disservice to pretend otherwise. Your purpose will have you questioning everything, pushing through loads of your blocks, keeping you up at night, driving you mad. Anyone else? Like it will bug the shit out of you, right? Until you get behind it. Again, we'll go deeper with that when we talk about connecting to the spirit of your business. So stay tuned to other episodes or go and download this ebook for free if you cannot wait till I get to recording those episodes. But I have a whole chapter dedicated on connecting to the spirit of your business or your creation, right? It will drive you mad. And if you ignore for long enough, it will just go find someone else. So we'll unpack that later, but this is your mini soul warning. Commit to it at least in a ceremony now. I see you, I feel you, I understand your importance, and I choose to be the worthy co-creator who wants to make you on the planet, right? Commit to be in ceremony with this creation. All right, coming back to this, the preconception that it won't be complicated or challenging after you step onto your path of purpose is not helping anyone. So that's why I also wanted to get these podcast episodes out so people could start to understand, like any other natural evolving part of the ecosystem on planet Earth, the web of life, it will have its ups and downs. So I'll continuously remind you, it's the most exciting feeling ever to be aligned with purpose. Okay, so just for that, it's empowering, it's exhilarating. This will fill us with energy and light and a sense of belonging. This attracts abundance to us, opportunity to us, community to us. It gives us a reason to get up every day. Some people just need it for that. So I want to share a little bit about my story here. My purpose, I bring soul to biz. I go from soul to strategy. I'm here as a mystical, magical motherfucker. I'm also here as like a really Capricorn organized business mentor and a lot of stuff in between. So most people, the reason why I'm doing this is because most people need to go through multiple places for business help and to get the spiritual connection, but not in my world. My clients giggle almost every week, and I'm going to say giggle, right? Because they're laughing to themselves that we can literally go from past life persecution to marketing strategy within a paragraph, like within 5 minutes on our call. I can handle all that. And these are the women I attract. You don't have to go over there for your business help and over there for the spiritual connection. I host it all. So this is where I thrive, bringing that energetic and spiritual conversation and connection to the table for business, for your creation, for your passion projects, all of it. Even at a young age, I was an intuitive, I was a mystic, I was an empath, I was this like magical child who was sensing other things past our regular six senses. And I knew there was more. I was connecting with more. So I grew up, I experienced, I traveled, I explored the external world until my attention turned inward. Back in the day, my soul was screaming for big things I was here to do, to create, to lead, and become, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And I was just so angry at the root of everything. I was definitely aggressive. I was using way too many substances. I was exploding on people. I was like crushing every job I have and then would overcome it. I was burning bridges. I would go for another more challenging job. I was stressing myself out to the max, trying to climb corporate ladders. Like, oh God, it was like such a wild mess. And I knew deep down, I knew that like so many things would need to change and heal for me to like get on this path that I'm on now. So I spent my 20s exploring my depths, and then my work turned professional just before I was heading into my 30s, and we were opening up our gym and stuff. The 2012 awakening was approaching for me, and I knew deeply that millions would be activated. Like I turned on to that 2012 awakening and could just feel that I was part of collective consciousness that was awakening in those moments. And I literally gave up all substances, drinking and drugs. I gave up meat at that time. I became vegetarian. I quit my corporate job, I signed up for a yoga teacher training and started a healing journey that I have not gotten off of. And now it's 2024. So what, 12 years later, I'm still here. And ooh, what and who I have become in those 12 years is amazing. So basically, I'm saying I let the awakening take over me. I connected to the invisible well of energy with other light workers and I leaned into my soul work even more. Even though back then, like I didn't know it was all this, I'm writing from this point of view now, but back then it was just like, I can feel some wild shits about to go down and I'm part of it. And I'm here to be a leader or something and I need to face myself, right? So deeply, I knew my soul was calling me to write and teach locally and internationally and be involved with communities and lead movements and be part of these global revolutions. I was called to create a new way of life for those who were ready. I was called to activate Earth Guardians and conscious creators. I was called to share my light and the world with the world until we could all like hold up our own torches. So I did just that. And I'm still doing just that. And if anyone's like, what do you call yourself? I love the titles and the labels and the things we give us. But here's a little myriad of things I usually I call myself depending on who I'm talking to, whether I'm at the grocery store or a crystal shop, LOL. I am a soul purpose coach. I also like to call myself a soulpreneur coach. I like to call myself an earth guidance counselor. That's one of my favorites because really I am that. I am also a spiritual business coach and I'm a mystical mom boss. And really anything else that's like aligned and falls out of my mouth when I'm asked. People come to me with their ideas, their visions, their passions, and their missions. I'm a soul purpose doula. I help it go from an idea that's dropped in and bringing it through your entire body and your energy field to birth it onto the planet. People that like come to me because they want to know how to achieve these visions, these dreams, and then what their next steps are. Like, this is what I do. My aura ignites something in them and it releases the tidal waves of everything backed up in there. And then I help them organize and strategize it out. That's like the fun part for me too. I love that part. And I'm saying that because most people hate that part. And because people don't like that part, they don't ever get it out and done. That's why my work is so important. That's why I can stand by. I understand the worthiness of my value here on the planet. So this also encompasses, I'll talk about areas of expertise. Our next episode, where it's just me talking like this, we're going to go into that. So stay tuned. We'll cover that. Don't worry, I'll help you with that. But just for now, let's stay on track because we're about to start getting into some exercises, my favorite exercises. Um, so let what was I saying? About this is what helps me align my perfect clients. Me getting so clear about my path is what helps me align with the perfect people who need me, right? And this is how we're all here to help each other. So, this is part of my design, my flow, my vibe, and I couldn't stop it if I tried. It's a fire hose, LOL. But if you're even still listening to these episodes, we are here to do this together, or something about what I'm saying or writing is working for you. Or maybe you're like, oh my God, I need privates with her. Or you're like, wait, just 5 business courses? What are they? Honestly, they're really super affordable and accessible, just letting you know. My purpose has only gained momentum since then and has become my nature now. So since 2015, I've helped thousands of people get behind their soul purpose. I've written my heart out. I've had people share my words worldwide. I've been on stages in front of thousands and helped hundreds of women start their business and make their own money, time, freedom. I could go on and on, but here's the point. All right. Millions of people are about to be majorly activated. Millions have been activated, millions are going through it now, and millions more to come over the next 4 years to a decade. It's going to be a wild ride. So many are going to feel angry and they're going to need to heal, or they're going to need to pause and take action and rest and release and surrender and flow and feel. Whew, it's all needed, but this will be their process and they need to have it. This is where business comes in, for me at least, with the work I do. This is where the Creation and Passion Project comes from. This is where we can surge the marketplace with our light and love. This is where we become the problem solvers, the builders, the teachers of the new world. Yes, you have one. We all have one. And it's time to get on your unique path. Or at least I hope you agree at this point in the guidebook that you have one. So the biggest question is now, what is your soul purpose? Okay, let's move into these exercises. So this is one I love to do, the path of purpose exercise. We need to get clear on yours now. Even if you think you know what yours is, answer these questions. These are the questions I've asked myself, my clients, and my communities over the years that you will find most helpful. So get yourself outside with a journal or maybe a cup of something. You can pause the podcast for each of these questions and give yourself a few minutes to answer these out. Okay, I'm just going to start telling you these questions. I'm just going to say them all out and you can pause where you need to. All right. 1, what do people come to you for? What do people reach out to you for? What have they historically come to you for? What have they historically reached out to you for? What are the things that fire you up? What are the things that excite you? What were your interests as a child, as a wee one, and then when you got older, and then when you were a teen? What wisdom or knowledge do people come to you for? What are some of your core values? What gets you triggered, all fired up and bothered? What's something you could then go on and on for hours about, and often have, and maybe not in your finest hours, lol. What's alive in you now? What are your heart's deepest desires? What do you long for? What would you be doing if money was not an issue or a block right now? If you had endless amounts of it, what would you be doing? What do you feel called to do? What projects, places, and events are calling you toward them now? What wants your focus and attention right now? What are your passions? Okay, I know I just threw all of those at you, but like go back, rewind, hit pause before you go on to the next one. All these answers, if you answer all of those, these are massive signs that point to purpose. The more of them you can illuminate, the brighter your path becomes. So that's step 1. That's exercise 1. The next exercise we're going to do is called the Pillars of Purpose exercise. This is one of my favorite activities, and I've been teaching and using it for years. Anytime I feel lost on the path, questioning my alignment or feeling something new come through, I take it to my pillars. All right. So, step 1, take the answers that you just got from all those questions. And then if you feel the need to make either another list or have like a deeper brainstorming session, you're going to do that now. I want you to get all the words, all the topics, all the themes that express and explore or support what's alive in you and your purpose now. So again, pause that and just go make your lists, get some highlighters, get some colorful markers, maybe get on Canva and make a beautiful mind map. Like, what are all the things? Okay. Then come back. Step 2 is we're just going to circle and highlight. So you're going to notice, you're going to circle, you're going to highlight what keeps coming up. So now you're just going to explore all of these topics. You're going to look at these things and go, oh, that's interesting. Nature kept coming up here. Or, oh, I didn't look at all this, like me constantly talking about working with children. Like I didn't even really think that was in my field much, or that I had the ability to work with children. Or, wow, healing's a topic in my stuff. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So you want to go through and just kind of highlight, get colors out, get creative with like getting clear about those themes. Step 3 is we're going to organize it. So we're going to take what's circled, we're going to take what you've written, and we're just going to organize it into 4 different categories. So you don't have to get like super, what's the word? I don't want you to get like perfectionist about this. Just get your 4 categories going. If there's one about nature, let it be about nature, and then list under it all the ways in which you talked about nature. And if there's one about health, same thing. All right. Then you're going to, when you look at all of it written out, I want you to find a theme title, like a topic title, a theme title for each of those categories. So maybe it's something broad like nature. Maybe it is something broad like health. Okay. Or maybe it's way more detailed and oriented. Like, for example, mine right now, I've been doing this for years. Mine right now, the 4 pillars that really hold me up are: 1, I am a mystical, magical woman. I am a high priestess. I am a sister of the rose. I have this whole like energetic, intuitive, powerful, feminine pillar. I don't really talk much publicly about that, as much as sometimes I'll write about it. But that is like the work where priestesses that are ready to work with me, they come and find me and we work together and I help them on initiations and other things like that. Another one is this like obviously wicked business organized masculine strategic side of business, like the boss babe vibe, even though I hate that archetype name, LOL, but it's got that. And it's very different from the other pillar I just explained. You know what I mean? So, and because they're so separate, I feel good being able to just like lean in on one at a time. And I know where it goes under that. Another one of my pillars is that I'm a druid. So I have this Celtic nature spirituality frequency in me that people come to me for. And that's where a lot of my ceremonies lie. That's a whole other thing, right? And then the fourth one right now for me is my book. The book, this project is a side vent of that pillar because it has to do with the book, and all the things that's such a important thing to me right now that it deserves its own pillar. It's for years ago, it was me making all my courses. For years ago, it was manifesting and working with my children on the spirit side and having them come in. Well, now they're here and you can probably hear them screaming on the other side of the walls I'm in right now. You know what I mean? So they will change. Okay, let me come back to this. We're almost done here. So then you're going to just organize out those categories, okay? What feels most aligned, most soul-led, and essentially you're going to give each of your pillars a name. And then I want you to imagine these four topics as pillars holding up your temple of purpose. This is your space to play and grow with purpose. So you're in the temple now. There are big marble floors under your feet. There are big, giant marble stairs surrounding that floor, going down into the world. But you are at the center of that temple. And these four pillars are holding up the vision, the mission, the dream, the destiny, all of it. Okay. And you come here, you make it a point to come here daily if you need, or weekly if you can remember, and you work in your temple of purpose. So this is what I mean is put down the phone and stop doom scrolling and get into meditation with us and sit with which of these pillars is calling to me right now. And you sit there and work with them. The most significant piece of advice here, I'd say, is get behind these pillars and stay there for at least 6 months. It may take you a few days or a week to lock behind these pillars, but when you do, if you want to actually see some growth and be able to shift the dial in your soul work, you will want to bring energy to these pillars often over the next year. Keep them, move forward with them. So I would suggest to be able to spend some time with these activities before you move on into any other chapter episodes that we're going to do. Next up, I have an amazing interview coming up with Justine Harrington in your dream space. I'm so excited for her. I also have the next astro report. Your July astro report will be here soon. I can't wait to talk to Inez and see what's in the stars for everyone next month. But spend some time with your soul purpose in this soul purpose temple that we've created here today. All right. These are my favorite topics. If you can't tell, I am so excited to bring this episode to you. Next time, when it's just you and me here, we're going to go into step into your expertise and some of those activities. I'm so excited. So stay tuned. Listen to the next episodes. Text me. It goes right to me, just so you know, not to a robot. It goes right to me. Text me. What were your epiphanies? What were your aha moments in this episode? And I can't wait to see how this episode served you. Okay, stay tuned. Until next time. Bye.